In Ibadan, how do you do? Welcome to this side of time. Welcome to the beauty of time. Welcome to duty. Welcome to the future. It's about yesterday. It's about now. It's about tomorrow. I am reflecting, and Seyi Makinde is in my mind. You know, Seyi Makinde says he has no godfather, that God is his father. Do you understand what that means? In Nigeria's political landscape, such a claim is rare. Here, godfathers build kings, and kings become godfathers. In a politics that enhances poverty and insecurity, godfathers shape the people, but to themselves. Their blessings often come with invisible chains. Do you know a political godfather around you? Seyi Makinde says he has no godfather. He says God is his father. Has Seyi Makinde become a godfather? The program is State Affairs on Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. I am Edmondo Pillow. Good morning.
What deal did I make with anybody? I didn't make any deal with anybody. And when I say, look, here, I depended only on God the Father. No Godfather. And I'm still saying it till tomorrow. If there are Godfathers in Oyo State, they should go and back whoever they would like to back.
But they are not saying you have now become a godfather.
To who? Me. It is the people of Oyo State that are completely in charge of me.
State Affairs with Edmondo Pillow is live.
When Makinde says God is his father,
Are completely in charge of me.
Is
human control, surrender to a higher, unseen order. So when Seyi Makinde says he has no godfather, it is a statement of faith that power comes not from cabals, but from calling, that destiny is not bought, it is born. Politically, in this climb, it is dangerous. Without a godfather, a politician stands naked before the storm. Alliances are thinner, protection is weaker, mistakes are punished more harshly. Yet, it is also liberating. A man without a godfather serves no earthly master. He can negotiate directly with the people. He can act without fear of puppeteering. Do we say Makinde's part is not common? Do we say it is steep, solitary, and often misunderstood? Has Makinde changed since then? What is Makinde's relationship with Tinubu? Is Tinubu now Makinde's godfather? In a land heavy with the weight of political ancestry, Makinde's declaration is more than personal. It is a quiet revolution. Can Makinde keep that revolution? When God is father, integrity matters more than alliance or allegiance. Vision matters more than ambition, and service matters more than survival. Are you with me in this class? It is the class of history, politics, and power. Remember, I just said that when God is father, integrity matters more than allegiance, vision matters more than ambition, and service matters more than survival. In all this, a question arises, and I will ask that question. The question is, will Seyi Makinde join APC? Considering his role in the PDP, considering his intimate friendship with Wike, considering his role in the last presidential election, considering his role in the conflict in the PDP, will Seyi Makinde join APC? Power, principle, and pragmatism. I am looking at the Makinde puzzle and the philosophy of political survival in Nigeria. Yes. In this class, we will look at Oladipo Diya in history. In this class, we are looking at Seyi Makinde in political romance. In this class, we will examine the tragedy of insecurity. Oladipo Diya in history. Seyi Makinde in political romance, and the tragedy of insecurity. I want us to listen to our former governor of Oyo State, Abiola Ajimobi. Has Ajimobi resurrected to predict what will come? All right, let's hear his voice.
Seyi Makinde is coming. Many of them are coming.
Did you say Seyi Makinde is coming?
Yes.
To the APC?
Yes. You see, this APC is a movement. It's not about individuals. It's about philosophy.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo.
Seyi Makinde is coming. Many of them are coming.
Did you say Seyi Makinde is coming?
Yes.
To the APC?
Yes. You see, this APC is a movement. It's not about individuals. It's about philosophy.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
Huh. Where is Ajimobi speaking from? Seyi Makinde is coming. Will Seyi Makinde join APC? Considering his role in the last presidential election, considering his role in the crisis in the PDP, considering his intimate relationship with Wike, is Seyi Makinde on his way to APC? In Nigerian politics, power is not merely a tool. It is the air that politicians breathe and the compass that guides decisions. In this system of brutal politics, where loyalty is transient and party affiliation is often a costume for convenience, the recent defection of the Delta State Governor, Sheriff Oborewori, from the opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP, to the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, throws yet another spotlight. Oborewori, from the opposition People's Democratic Party, PDP, the dance between power, ambition, and political survival. Is Fubara going to join the APC soon? Let's leave Fubara for now. Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, often described as a man of vision, stands at the crossroads of this evolving drama. Makinde's reputation as a leader who knows what he wants and how to get it politically sets himself apart in a landscape where many react to power rather than shape it. Yet, even a man of clarity must now contend with the gravitational pull of President Bola Tinubu's expanding influence and the visible tremors it is causing within the PDP. Mark these words: President Bola Tinubu's expanding influence. Do you know what that means? As Tinubu's powers expand, the powers of the people contract. Tinubu is having expanded political influence because the powers of the people are contracting. Hey, will Makinde defect to the APC? What did Ajimobi see? Ajimobi saw something.
Makinde is coming. Many of them are coming.
Did you say Seyi Makinde is coming?
Yes.
To the APC?
Yes. You see, this APC is a movement. It's not about individuals. It's about philosophy.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
You know, I'm just reflecting. My eyes are closed. There is something I'm seeing. It is a big problem coming. We Nigerians be able to cope. It is like a wild wind. I can see it. Anyway, my eyes are open now. You know one thing? Seyi Makinde says he's not romantic. Seyi Makinde says he's not romantic. I don't know if you understand. Perhaps he can explain.
It was like that until she turned 21 and she came to me and said, well, okay, now I'm ready to get into a boyfriend-girlfriend thing.
So by this time, you were no longer a member of the National Youth Service Corps?
No, I had started working. I did my youth service between 1990 and 91. So, I mean, she was born in 1972. So it was around 93 that we actually started dating in the proper sense of it. And I guess it wasn't because I don't see myself as really a romantic person.
You are not?
No,
Seyi Makinde is not romantic?
Not exactly.
How were you able to get a beautiful woman to listen to you?
Well, I actually just went to her and I said, look, you know, I think I really want you to marry me.
Just like that?
Just like that.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
So perhaps it is Odogu that took that line from she. Achalugo, I will marry you. However, it is not that romance that I'm thinking of this morning. Perhaps Seyi Makinde is romantic. He doesn't know. You see, romance is not only for lovers. It is also for dreamers. It is also for builders. Romance is for those who believe in what they cannot yet see. Can Makinde see the future? You know, some have been asking, will Makinde run for president? I'm saying, what will Makinde do? Will Makinde want to distract Atiku in the PDP by running for the presidency? And Tinubu will fly in the APC? I'm just thinking. You see, politics too needs romance. Politics needs patience. Politics needs tenderness. And that is being romantic. Politics needs the quiet courage to hope when all hope seems lost. That is being romantic. A politically romantic leader does not rule by force. Is Seyi Makinde not politically romantic? A politically romantic leader, in an ideal sense, rules by trust. He does not shout. He listens. He does not conquer. He persuades. Is Tinubu politically romantic? Who is not romantic in this class? See, when Makinde says he had no godfather, that God is his father, what gave him that confidence? Shola, let's look at Seyi Makinde telling us how he became a billionaire. Perhaps that will give you one of the reasons why Makinde is so confident that he has no godfather. Yeah. So how did Seyi Makinde become rich?
Well, I'll probably show to you the first project that we did under Macon. I was earning maybe about equivalent of $20,000 a year with my work as a field engineer stroke assistant manager at Rebold. So when the first project we got at Macon was $1 million for, I think it was for 6 months or 1 year.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
So after your first financial break, how did you then make more money?
Well, we did it for ExxonMobil at Kwaibo Terminal, and then Ajip also called us. They wanted the same thing. They were standardizing it across all export terminals in Nigeria, so we did also at Escravos. We went to Texaco then, we did at Oloibiri. So it became the standard for the oil industry in Nigeria. At some point, I think our flow computers were being used, to export at least half of Nigeria's daily crude exports.
That was your rise to being a billionaire.
Well,
so Seyi Makinde is an oil man. You made your money from
apart
oil
from
industry.
apart from oil and gas. I don't know any other thing again. Well, okay, not politics. So I only came from the oil and gas into philanthropy, just giving back to the people, and then I got sucked into politics. Just based on that.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
So I thought, okay, at least I can get out of here and go look for opportunities where I can learn as quickly as possible and have something that I can offer the industry. And that was when I took the decision to join Rebuild as a field engineer. And that gave me the exposure. It wasn't Shell anymore. My first project was with Ajib. Then they sent me to Texaco, and then within 2 years, I was the assistant manager for the Eket operations, and that was it. It gave me the confidence to just get into the industry and do my own thing. So within 3 years of taking that decision, I already set up Macon Engineering, and I couldn't even tell people that I was the founder. On my card then I put operations manager because I walked into people's offices and then you're asking them to trust you with millions of dollars worth of project, and then they're looking at me like this 29-year-old guy, we don't know what he can do. And you notice from this administration, my experience from how I started very early made me, to have absolute trust in our youngsters. So you see around me, most of my folks, they are really, really young, and they've been carrying those responsibilities very well.
I see.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
So, if you become a billionaire at that age, then you don't need a godfather. Because why do you need a godfather in the first instance? Sometimes it's to bankroll you. So Seyi Makinde bankrolled himself, so he didn't need anybody. So if you don't have billions, can you go on your own? So do you understand why Seyi Makinde said he had no godfather? That God is his father. Because he has made this money. So he doesn't need anybody's money. And that's how he came into politics. So what about you that have revolutionary ideas? What about you that is visionary, but you don't have billions? Do you need a godfather? Think about it. Oh. Is that why guys go all out now to make money, then come into politics and buy their way? Anyway, it's about Seyi Makinde's political romance with the future. Here is the fundamental question. What is power in a state like Nigeria, and how should one wield it without being consumed? What is power in a state like Nigeria, and how should one wield it without being consumed by it? Will Seyi Makinde join the APC? Will Seyi Makinde join the APC? Perhaps Ajimobi understands the future.
Seyi Makinde is coming. Many of them are coming.
Did you say Seyi Makinde is coming?
Yes.
To the APC?
Yes. You see, this APC is a movement. It's not about individuals. It's about philosophy.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
Ajimobi has not resurrected. Ajimobi spoke as the governor of Oyo State. In Nigeria, power is not purely institutional. Power is personal. It is transactional and deeply embedded in networks of loyalty, ethnicity, patronage, and regional identity. Power flows not just from the people, but from the center, from the presidency, from godfathers, from the access to federal allocation, security infrastructure, and symbolic dominance. President Tinubu, a seasoned chess player in Nigeria's political game, understands this better than most. Tinubu's strategies are not just about party politics. They are about consolidating influence, disarming opposition, and redefining the center of gravity in the Nigerian Federation. Seyi Makinde, by contrast, represents a more technocratic, policy-driven approach to governance. Seyi Makinde projects independence. Yet, no one governs in Nigeria without understanding the terrain of compromise. Take that point home. No one governs in Nigeria without understanding the terrain of compromise. The question then is not just will Seyi Makinde join the APC, but must he, in order to preserve relevance or protect his state's interest, join the APC? What is Tinubu dangling before them? This dilemma unveils a deeper philosophical truth. In fragile democracies like Nigeria, the line between principle and pragmatism is often blurred. A political actor must continually balance fidelity to ideals with the raw demands of survival. Loyalty to a party can be noble, but loyalty to one's people and to one's future often dictates a different path. Power in Nigeria is centripetal. It pulls everything towards Abuja. Governors who do not align with the center must either become resistance men or strategic collaborators. Was Makinde a strategic collaborator in the 2023 election that gave Tinubu the presidency? Makinde's decision will not just be a personal or partisan one. It will be an expression of how power is negotiated in a highly polarized and patronage-driven republic. If Makinde stays in the PDP, he may become a rallying figure for internal reform or position realignment. If he moves to the APC, he may be seen as bowing to the inevitable logic of Nigerian politics. Either way, Makinde's choice will speak volumes about the character of the state, the limits of independence, and the enduring tension between moral vision and political necessity. In the end, the true test of power is not merely its acquisition, but its use in shaping a better future. Will Makinde bend with the storm or plant his feet and shape it? In Nigeria's ever-shifting sands of politics, the answer may not be as important as the philosophical questions it raises. And the questions you should take home is, what is power without integrity? And what is integrity without the leverage of power? It is the science of Seyi Makinde's politics. It is Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. I am Edmondo Bilo. Stay cool. Stay tuned.
Zag energy drink with malt? This bottle looks
Democratic Studies visited the Sultan of Sokoto, Alhaji Dasuki, on a transition sensitization visit. After the formalities, the hall was cleared and the Sultan requested the representatives of the management of the CDS to advise Babangida not to proceed with the election because, according to him, neither MKO Abiola nor Bashir Tofa was qualified to be the president. The management of CDS replied that it was already late to stop the process because the candidates were already on the campaign trail and the nation was expectant. The Sultan said that if the management of CDS could not advise President Babangida to stop the election, he would do himself.
Yes.
That is the Sultan here.
Yeah. There were what I would call powers behind the throne. Although the throne is higher than everybody, but there are also powers behind who, interestingly, were stronger than the throne, more powerful than the throne.
Can the Sultan be that powerful?
It could be that powerful religiously. He is taken as the head of all Muslims. So that's one area where he could exercise that power and influence. The other is, we said at the beginning that a lie is something you lie because you want to benefit from it. So, or you lie or you believe a lie because it agrees with what you also want, what you were thinking before. So if the Sultan tells Babangida something that agrees with what Babangida wanted, of course, they are collinear. They are in agreement, and therefore he would obey. And I think that there was a lot of that because spiritual leader, but as we say in politics, there's also politics behind the scene, which sometimes determines issues more than the politics on the scene. That's what they call the astrologia. It's something, there are things that nobody is ever told. Politics works at night most of the time, and politicians are night animals.
Yeah.
So, and you never, there are no minutes of such meetings, and the minutes are in the minds of the participants. So it's a question of what's going on, which is not in the public domain.
Why the night? Because as a political reporter, I even find myself working at night to know what the politicians are doing. Why do they like the night?
They like the night most of the time because they want to exclude other people. Women have been complaining that one of the reasons women are not many in politics is that it's a nocturnal game, and they are not given to that kind of thing. Second reason why it is a night game is that usually after the official meeting that they hold, if you find politicians say, "Hi, how are you? Very good. Where are you going now?" "I'm going home." "Okay, we'll see you later." There's going to be another meeting.
What can you take away from that statement by the Sultan? Do you now feel that the North was afraid of the coming of Abiola?
From what the Sultan was alleged to have said at the meeting with CDS management, he felt that not just the North, but also himself would not benefit from a Southern president, at least not benefit maximally from a Southern president. And so he would also, just like ABN, he would also want Babangida that he knows to continue. So the devil you know is better than the one you don't know.
But Abiola was their friend.
Abiola was their friend. There is also a limit. There are gradations. Women have been complaining that one of the reasons women are not part of, knowledge
of conflicting ideologies and complexities, understanding systems and schemes through awareness and social reconstruction becomes expedient.
They never told you how you offended them?
I'm not on trial, so I can't go before
Join the radio man Edmondo Bilo on State Affairs for local and international politics, security, extensive economic analysis, interviews, and world power play.
Nigerians must choose the path they want to follow. Follow the same looters and sponsors of violence who control the political structures or encourage the formation of a new leadership team.
Be a global citizen and join the radio revolution on State Affairs. State Affairs with Edmond Obilo. Radio just got deeper.
Seyi Makinde is coming. Many of them are coming.
Did you say Seyi Makinde is coming?
Yes.
To the APC?
Yes. You see, this APC is a movement. It's not about individuals. It's about philosophy.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
Invited from outside Nigeria.
Yes, from outside Nigeria, like the people I just saw, the Benoni, the Togolese, coming to do farming activities there. Who brought them in? Somebody must have asked them that something like this going on. If you get to Teswaju, the mining area, you have Senegalese, you have Malians.
So it's not just about Fulanis.
It's not. Look, when they say everything header, it's not about Fulanis alone. Our own people have arrested people around the Shrine there with military vest and local made guns. They are involved in kidnapping. But when you do ethnic profiling, that's one of the things why we keep telling people to stop ethnic profiling. Because when it's everything Fulani, the Yorubas, who are also criminals, will hide under that.
But are there Fulani criminals?
There are so many of them. There are Fulani criminals, no doubt about that. We've picked so many of them. Even this same operation I was telling you, after that intel, we picked 7 of them.
Fulanis?
They are all Fulanis.
So,
and we handed over to DSS. And the DSS confirmed that they actually helped them in resolving some of the issues they were investigating before them.
So you eventually moved into that bush?
Yes. After the training, if they tell into field training exercise, we comb the entire area.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
There's a return, but what I cannot tell you is whether the metaphysical part of it, where you have to chant incantations, whether that is still in operation now.
Can't we turn incantations to formulas?
Yes. You see, when the crisis, quote and unquote, over the current Alafin came, I had to interview, alongside 2 other friends of mine, interview Professor Diya Bimbola. And I saw how Yoruba people have, quote and unquote, lost it in terms of abandonment of the rich repertoire of incantations and, that is delivered as a form of poetry in Yoruba land, and the powers, the odus, because when you listen and you could relate to them.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live. Stay tuned.
From what you have just explained, it's like there was a coup.
No, you can see that was like a plan. There was a template. What betrayed the whole issue was because Diya was central to Gerald Abacha coming to power. Now say, Oga, we told you that this was how this man was.
So, but he didn't tell Abacha that the GOCs had come to him.
He didn't. He didn't tell.
So
Abacha.
on a good day, he would have removed Abacha.
Where it was not, he was not in charge of any troops.
But the chief of army staff was working with him.
With chief of army staff was working with him.
So the chief of army staff had troops.
He had troops.
The GOCs had troops.
They had troops.
So and they were all working with him.
They were purportedly working with him. Purportedly. And it's not as if these are decision makers. These are members of the highest ruling body now.
Do you think Abacha used them to set him up?
It's most likely.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live. Stay tuned.
As he was coming down from official residence, his bedroom was upstairs. He was coming down. He had stomach ache. And because of that stomach ache, he went to toilet. And because having left the toilet, he felt he should wait a bit. Maybe that thing can come back again. That it will not be nice for him to get to Makinde. The first thing he asked for was a toilet. That he should wait. And that was why he waited for 30 minutes. And that was what saved him. Because they had programmed the bomb to explode. And because he had not boarded the plane, the officer that was supposed, the soldiers that were to carry the bomb along with him, those soldiers did not know what they were carrying. It was just other instruction. Take this portfolio and follow him to the something, and they were going to be allowed in. And that was how the thing exploded on ground. That was how it was saved.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live. Stay tuned.
Recently, the governor raised an alarm about the influx of bandits from the north into
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live.
We have discussed Seyi Makinde in political romance. We will discuss General Oladipo Diya in history. Remember Diya? Diya was the chief of general staff under Sani Abacha. He was the number 2 man in that government. At some point, he was arrested for plotting a coup to overthrow the Abacha government. He was sentenced to death. The Oladipo Diya story is well captured in the book Destiny Anchored on Faith, the story of General Oladipo Diya. Look at the book. It's a book written by Dr. Oluronti Afowowe. Dr. Oluronti Afowowe, a specialist on military defense and strategic studies. Destiny Anchored on Faith, the story of Oladipo Diya. If you read this book, you would understand Oladipo Diya. So this is the story of Oladipo Diya, written by his biographer. Oladipo Diya is a subject on this edition of State Affairs. It is to take you into the past and create an understanding of where we are coming from so that we are able to navigate through today and then command the future. The ball is always in our court. It's about history. It's about men. It's about places. It's about the actions of those who live here. You can get this book from Udara Books. If you are interested in reading the story of General Oladipo Diya, you can send me a message on WhatsApp. Order it through my WhatsApp number. That is 080 18449. 080 18449. You know, I talked about Godfather and Seyi Makinde. Chris Ngige, a former governor of Anambra State, is the story of what a godfather can do. Chris Ngige was the godson of a billionaire, Chris Uba. On a very good day, if you match both men together, why will Ngige be Chris Uba's godson? Ngige is a medical doctor well-read, not a baby. Chris Uba is not well-read, but Chris Uba is a billionaire. Ngige, well-read, a technocrat, a medical doctor, he didn't have billions. So Chris Uba had the structure of the PDP in Anambra State. He commanded the structure. He chose who was going to be who was going to be governor, senator. His billions spoke for him. They handed the PDP to him in Anambra State, and he picked Ngige as his godson. When Ngige became governor, the fight between the godfather and the godson began. Ngige wanted to be his own man, but they reminded him of the Okija shrine, that Ngige had gone to Okija shrine to swear to an oath of allegiance to Chris Uba. When the battle began, Chris Uba, through the connivance of the Nigerian state, kidnapped the governor. It is the story of godfatherism. So there is a book here entitled The Abducted Governor. The Abducted Governor, The Politics of Godfatherism and the Aborted Coup to Oust Dr. Chris Ngige as the governor of Anambra State. It's a book written by Richard Akinola. You should read this book. Yes, as a student of this class, I want you to read this book. Yes, you should read this book. It tells the story of Nigeria. Chris Uba versus Ngige. Ngige survived it, but Peter Obi emerged because Peter Obi won the election. Chris Uba used his billions to rig the election for Ngige. Peter Obi went to court. After about 2-3 years, he won the case, and Ngige was removed as governor. Peter Obi took charge. That is the emergence of Peter Obi. In all this Tinubu's politics and strategy, what is Peter Obi planning? Are you underrating him? As governors defect, as senators defect, Peter Obi does not look back. He's on the move. He's everywhere. What is he planning? Time will tell. The story of Ngige, written by Richard Akinola, is a book you should read. You can contact me through my WhatsApp numbers if you want to order a copy. Another book written by Richard Akinola is Fellow Countrymen and Men. Fellow Countrymen, no women. Fellow Countrymen, the story of coup d'etats in Nigeria. The story of coup d'etats in Nigeria by Richard Akinola. You know, I recently interviewed Richard Akinola. It's an interview you should not miss. A revealing interview. If you miss that interview, you have missed out. So, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel to listen, to watch that interview. It will be uploaded soon. The interview with Richard Akinola, that renowned journalist of yore, a lawyer, a friend of Gani Fawemi. He knew Delegiwa and he wrote a book on Delegiwa. Don't miss that interview. So subscribe to my YouTube channel now. What about the Festus Adedayo interview? You heard about Festus Adedayo. You heard him talking about metaphysics. Yeah. Festus is the author of the book Ayilao Mowura, Life and Times of an Akbala Legend. I've been wanting to discuss the book with Festus Adedayo. That book was released, was it on 2020? Yes. I discussed the book with him just briefly then. But this time we have entered the book. We have gone inside the book. We have tweaked the book. That is an interview you should not miss. You know, we looked at Ayinla Mowura. We looked at him broadly. we were poking into his life. We are analyzing the events of time. We are analyzing how he was killed. Deep story. Festus Adedayo, the political philosopher, the acclaimed journalist, is a storyteller. He's the author of the book Anyilao Mowura, Life and Times of an Akbala Legend. You can get the book on udarabooks.com or through my WhatsApp number 080-999-18449. Bayo Okewo is in class. Hello, Bayo. How are you this morning? Bayo Okewo. Yes, says good morning. I'm in class this morning. I know you are always in class, even when you don't say it. Bayo Okewo is recovering after his surgery. Bayo Okewo, everything good has come. Are you on X? Say hello to the radio man. Who is not on X? Let me see. Let me read your message on X. I can see KG Akinwale. He says in class already so that I can take the front seat. I'm listening from Makinde, Benue State. KG Akinwale, I hope you took the front seat. Thank you for being in class. Adesui Adenka says, good morning, radio man. I'm in class already. She cannot be actually right by saying he did not have or believe in Godfatherism. But one thing I understand about him is that he knows how to shovel his card to favor him at the end. Adesui Adenka. Ayotunde, good morning. Ayotunde is in class. Olani says he thinks Governor Seyi Makinde is a leader that forms very close relationships with people. He sometimes mixes personal feelings with political ambitions and decisions. Personal feelings cannot be devolved from political feelings. They go together. It is your person that defines your politics. I get the point you are making, Olani. Kewelaski says one common thing about Nigerian politicians, be it PDP or APC, is lack of vision or ideology. Lack of vision or ideology. Official Moji Morire is here. He said, and hasten the revolution on the new generation. Moji Morire and revolution. Moji, you have become so revolutionary in your thought. Every word you write about is a call for radical reforms. I'm trying to put your words together and hasten the revolution on the new generation of Nigerians, because they had knew a lot that the so-called elders aren't looking at. Redevelopment in Nigeria will definitely require... Moji, calm down. Calm down. Calm down, Moji. A nation where 75% poverty. Moji is full of anger. But I think you should tame it a bit, especially in your public comments. Okay? Olakunle Dawn. Seyi Makinde might not be maritally romantic, but he is politically and electorally charming. However, character determines charisma. Seyi Makinde possesses the romance and the financial attributes that can earn him dominance. She is patient and might be a new groom in political affairs. Uncle Jibi is on State Affairs. He says, always enlightened, educative, and highly instructive to be in your class. The program is one of a kind that always make my weekend a worthwhile. Uncle Jibi, that is why we are here. to make your weekend fun and educative. That is why Splash FM is here. 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. Keep the messages coming. The radio man is here to read your message. Join the class. Call your children. Tell mommy that the radio man is here. Tell papa that the radio man has come. Abeza Chasobina is here. He says Makinde's politics is hinged on two factors: strategically aligning with Tinubu despite being a PDP man. He calls it PDAPC politics, and doing everything possible to win the populace to his side. Abeza Chasobina says centripetal force must be balanced with centrifugal force. He will not officially join PDP. No, he will not officially join APC. Okay. Abeza says he will not officially join APC. Does that mean he will join APC but not officially? Okay. That means Seyi will be in the PDP and be pissing in. I am watching the governor closely. Mr. Governor, my eyes on you. You want to say hello to the radio man? You can call the radio station. I'll take two calls at this point. 070 694 93000 and 070 144 75770. The lines are open. Call the radio station. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, bro. This is Anthony.
Anthony, good morning, sir.
Thank you for making us understand or feel the presence of our existence in this this kind of entity where we are as Nigerians. God continue to enlarge your wisdom. You see, why I try to ruminate over this so-called exodus of these men I call political harlots. It has shown that they are only gunning for their own selfish interests. But where I'm going this morning, why are they holding on the point that it is Atiku ambition of just to continue to contest for position of presidency in this one that is making them to leave PDP? But to me, I don't think so. Because I remember, shortly after 2023 election, Atiku called a world conference. He made us understand that during their normal meeting, they said, since Southeast have not been given opportunity in PDP to also come out and lead, that if the position is to be shifted to Southeast, Atiku had him saying it. He said he's not ready to contest or go for that. They believe that it is the time for South. But Wike said that no, you should throw something open that anybody who wants to go for the position of president should buy the form. It is a Wike that is destroying PDP and is having its way. Let them remove their eyes from Atiku. But what I'm appealing to Atiku this morning, if he's hearing me or he has any aid that could pass this message to him, call World Conference. Tell the whole world that 2023 you have no interest to contest the position of presidency under any political party. That your coalition is you just want to find somebody who also from the South that we go into this race. Then let us hear those who say they are leaving PDP because Atiku is what? Is Atiku under spell? Is it under spell of APC that he should be used to destroy PDP? Atiku should come out and tell the whole world that he has no interest in 2027. Then let us see what will become of the PDP. We know that PDP has its own have committed their own blunder in the past, but we believe that they are the major opposition opposition party now, based on this systemic error that we are using to run this country. So let Atiku publicly tell the whole world he has no interest in 2020. Then let us all become of this man that is thrown away. But I believe the reason why they are going to APC is to save their heads from being incarcerated, from being oppressed with hunt, and they believe that through APC they can rig the 2020 election and have their way, because they believe that as APC is concerned, the ruling party, he that pays the piper dictates the tune. INEC is in the handprint of APC, handprint of President Tinubu. So all of them believe that if you still want to be a governor or a senator or any house of rep on 2027, run under the ruling party, because they own the umpire, the INEC on their pitch.
All right.
I understand these political jargons we are playing in this country. This is not democracy at all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anthony. Thank you. You know what happened in Edo State? Get ready. More will happen. The lines are open. Hey, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Vino.
Yes, good morning.
How are you doing? I pray for more wisdom and understanding for the class we are putting up today.
Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate this. Sorry, my name is Mr. David. Calling from my brother.
Make your point.
I really appreciate the word of the word you used this morning about you watching the governor. I would be more interested to know the outcome of the game that one of the insult of what he wants to do. Maybe he will show us that he's going to APC, or he will play the game of 2023 for him to. I don't think he will play the game, because we lost a lot of senators in the Southwest at the like of Tegbes and Co. So I don't think he will want to do that game again. But I want you to give us the root of the matter after we keep watching him.
All right. Thank you.
And about the meeting they came to do in Oyo State, PDP governors. After the meeting, we consider Sheriff the camp. You see, the meeting is about how they want to move with Tinubu in 2027. Are they using party to play out? Are they fighting for their mandate? Is they love the people? Okowa was the vice president in 2003 under PDP. He decided to APC. Is it for the state to vote so that Agege will not collect the state? People are we don't even understand what they are doing. I don't think they have anything else. I don't think they are even thinking about people dying in the mountain part. Akeredolu said it one before he died. They saw the public speech. The true word he said that time. Political is not about you just fighting for yourself. It's not a one party. Republican or Democratic is in the state. You can't, because you want to have a mandate to move to here. Like Jonathan said it, and when the Makinde read the book, he said, all of you, your grandchildren will come to Abuja and see the picture of everybody that saw the state. This is my grandfather. He's not a good president. Did he even have the fear of God? I would be happy for you to look down what the government is up to.
Thank you for calling the radio station. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Olani Sam Legend Baba says that he is romantically unromantic and is happy to be in class this morning. Let's go, the radio man, he says. Yeah, Olani, we are going. Big Pedro, how are you? I can see you here. I can see you, Big Pedro. Pedro, how big are you? I need to see you. Why are you Big Pedro? Are you a giant? Hey, it reminds me of Big B. Big B is no more. Big Bolaji. Bolaji is no more. Don't worry. Bolaji, don't worry. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. I'll talk about you someday. Big B. Big B. Big B is no more. Femi Ali Says, good morning, my lecturer. I'm listening attentively. I'm also a learner in this class. Thank you. Thank you. Say, the said bandits are dangerously close to the site of Governor Seyi Makinde's birthday retreat. What does that mean? As pressure from military operations in the northwest forces criminal elements to seek new hideouts, Amotekun springs into action. Acting on intelligence that bandits were dangerously close to the site of Governor Seyi Makinde's birthday retreat, Amotekun launched a forest operation that exposed just how vulnerable part of Oyo State had become. Colonel Olayinka Olayanju retired, commandant of the Oyo State Security Network, Amotekun, in this interview, shares an eye-opening account of the security operations that led to the flushing out of armed bandits who had taken refuge in the forest of Oyo State. This is a frontline narrative of strategy and the urgent need for vigilance. Colonel Olayinka Olayanju of Amotekun is on State Affairs.
Recently, the governor raised an alarm about the influx of bandits from the north into Oyo State. What has Amotekun done to react to that serious call?
Well, if I remember clearly, the intel was supplied to the public by His Excellency Engineer Seyi Makinde, the Executive Governor of Oyo State, during the Thanksgiving service for 2025, held at the Secretariat behind his office. It's an annual ritual. It was during his speech there that he mentioned that while he was enjoying his birthday period at Fashola, he was told by the intelligence community that about 2,000 meters to where he resides, there are presence of bandits. Remember, he stayed in that place for about 4-5 days. So he considered himself to be lucky that his place was not attacked and decided to share the information to the general public. Of course, coming from our founder and coming from the governor, the number one man of the state, we didn't take it lightly. And after that, he summoned me to his office and I met him and he said, this is what I've been told and I've released this to the public. What are you doing about it? What are your plans? I laid down some of the things that we want to do and the area that we need to support us. And he said, whatever that needs to be done, go ahead and do it. I will provide all the necessary logistics, every support needed. The first thing, I went back to him, I think about 6 hours later. I was in his house and I told him that I'm lucky I have some diaspora community who have trained my men before now, who are working in intelligence circle outside the country. They contacted me and they said they heard what you just mentioned and they are willing. They asked the same question that what are we doing about it? And I told them that okay, this is what you also the same question that you asked me some hours ago, and that what can we do? Let's put our heads together. It's not something for me alone. So we share ideas, and this is what we are coming out with. I map out a plan that okay, let's conduct a kind of training. Then it will dovetail into field training exercise, so that we can use that to kind of comb the general area where we are suspecting that these people are, so that if we have anything, that we're able to pick up some people there, we can hand them over to the relevant agencies, those who supply the information to the HE, and then that could help them to continue with their investigation. And that was done somewhere around the Seyi. The Seyi is the next local government to Oyo.
Yes.
Particularly Oyo West, where Fashola is located, Fashola Farm. And around that area, there are so many other farms. There's even one that I call the Obasanjo farm around that area too. We have a One River around that area. To the northern part, to the northwestern part of Fashola, you have the Oyo National Park. It extends from Oyo West around One River in Atiba, dovetailing to Seyi, and then Itesiwaju, Atisbo, Shaki East, like that. Around that general area, before that intel, we noticed that we do have presence of some bandits, Shanazami, because they come in, they operate. Around that area, there's this dam, Goj Dam. Goj Dam, yes. Around that area. So you have the Jaws, who are settlers there. You have the Hausas there. You have the Fulanis there. You have the Gedes there. You have Benin, and you have Togolese there. Because there's a lot of farm around that general area. Some people brought in some of these migrants into that area for farming activity. And you know that wherever you have this kind of people, you cannot wish it away, not to have some criminal elements. More so, it's at the fringe of the Oyo National Park that have been witnessing some criminalities, right from Olonshogo, that's Igbeti general area, the mining area, down to that side. And if you remember again, around the Itesiwaju, there's another mining area around that side. So people move between that area to this Seyi general area, the God Dam, because they are all connected.
Okay.
And they are adjoining community, they are adjoining local government. Even smugglers use the route there to smuggle rice.
Smuggle rice from where?
Now from Benin Republic.
Okay.
Through Iwajawa, they come into Itesiwaju. For them to be able to carry this thing and get to Oyo, that's the route they use on bike.
So it's a busy area.
It's a busy area. So a lot of criminal activities is going on there. You understand me? Because there's this the cover of the reserve provide them a kind of safe haven for them to be able to do a lot of, without people saying. They mark you, there are villages within this area. Villages like Abugaga, Tajes, and that thing, they are around that area. The community members, they are seeing what is going on. But sometimes because of fear, that, okay, these people could come for them, they will just keep quiet, and once they are not affected.
These people, where are they coming from? Most of these criminal elements.
Some of these criminal elements, some are within. Some are within our own people here. And of course, some of the other people who are settlers who have been in that place some of them have been there for 20, 30 years. And you can't wish it away that there are still some others outside the country, from other states, who are invited into that area.
Invited from outside Nigeria?
Yeah, some outside Nigeria, like the people I just saw, the Benin, the Togolese, coming to do farming activities there. Who brought them in? Somebody must have asked them, there's something like this going on. If you get to Tesiwaju, the mining area, you have Senegalese, you have Malians.
So it's not just about Fulanis.
It's not. Look, when they say everything header, it's not about Fulanis alone. Our own people have arrested people around the Seyi there with military vest and local made guns. They were involved in kidnapping. But when you do ethnic profiling, that's one of the things why we keep telling people to stop ethnic profiling. Because when it's everything Fulani, the Yorubas, who are also criminals, will hide under that.
But are there Fulani criminals?
There are so many of them. There are Fulani criminals, no doubt about that. We've picked so many of them. Even this same operation I was telling you, after that intel, we picked 7 of them.
Fulanis.
They are all Fulanis.
So,
and we handed over to DSS. And the DSS confirmed that they actually helped them in resolving some of the issues they were investigating before them.
So you eventually moved into that bush?
Yes. After the training, if they tell into field training exercise, we combed the entire area involving 8 local government, Atisbo, Itesiwaju, 8 local government of my men, Atisbo, Itesiwaju, Iseyin, the 4 from Oyo West, Oyo East, Afijo, and Atiba, and Iwajoa. We even brought in the Barakwa North and the Barakwa Central to join them.
That's a wide area.
Very, very wide. That's 10 local government took part in that operation. And we were able to pick up 7 suspects. And all of them were later confirmed to have 1 or 2 things to do with issues that were even, it was like they were trying to set up this kind of maybe terrorist camp, I don't know, terrorist cell. They usually operate in cell. Maybe they were trying to set up a cell that the days have been working on. So they were able to nip that in the bud.
Were they armed?
Yeah, of course now. They were able to nip that in the bud. That's the most important thing. They were able to nip it in the bud. That's why we're enjoying that relative peace. And the DSS did a lot of work. And they were able to nip this in the bud.
So are there measures in place to ensure that they do not return?
You can't guarantee that there will be there's no society that is crime free. They will return. It's all that if we on our own, we are not resting on our oars, so that as they return, we are there because we keep on monitoring. They are also monitoring us, they are seeing us, they know that we are doing something, they know that we will not allow them to have breathing space. And that's essentially why we do say security is collective responsibility. When the community member, that's why we have, after that is something, I have to set up 3 different posts within that general area as a kind of proactive measure, so that once they decide that, these people are there, they won't come in there. Since that time, we did not witness anything until about 6 days ago. They attempted to grab a woman at Abugaga in the Seyi local government around that general area. We were able to repair, because maybe they are not aware that my men were there, that we set up. So the woman raised alarm. They pretended they want to buy malt or so, and they pick up the woman. So when she raised alarm, because she knew my men were not far off, they were able to come in. On sighting my men, of course, there's a exchange of guns there, and they ran away, and we were able to. And if I done from the studio now, I can show you the picture of. I can even play the video of the woman, the victim that we were able to rescue from that incident. So see, these are since that time. That was sometimes we did that operation early February. We did not record a single incident until that of about 5-6 days ago.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live.
That is the voice of Colonel Olayanju Olayinka, retired, the commandant of Amotekun in Oyo State. There he talked about the tactics used by Amotekun to track down the bandits. He looked at the challenges of securing forested terrain in Oyo State. talked about collaboration with local informants and traditional rulers. So that story is more than a security update. It is a frontline narrative of courage, strategy, and the urgent need for vigilance. If you see something, say something. Security is the responsibility of all. Help government to help you. We have to be safe, and we will be safe. Be fine. The program is State Affairs on Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. Let's talk about scrap business. Are there scraps around you? Scrap is wealth. I hope you know. So I have Seun Ejidokun here of Dr. Scrap. Seun, it's good to have you on State Affairs.
Edmond Obilo, good morning. Good to be here.
Tell us about Dr. Scrap.
Yes, Dr. Scrap as a company. Edmond, let me say this here. Is a blessing to us as a nation. It's a blessing to the societies at large, our communities, state government, individual companies. Because it is possible for you to have in your compound a commercial tree, or let me say a very medicinal tree. Well, if you don't have any information about that tree, it's as good as you don't have that tree there. But the moment you have information about that tree, then you get to know that you place value on that tree. And likewise, just like somebody who is having a goat and his children are playing around that goat because he himself doesn't know, though he complains that he doesn't have money. He's a Cobonia now, he's a Tausonia now, yet if he has the information about what is in his compound, is in his care, he will know that he's a billionaire. Exactly. So Dr. Scrap, what we do, basically, we sell, we don't sell, we buy scrap cars, abandoned company equipment, machine, cars, like I said, computers, etc. You know, some of these things that you have them, you only come out, you come in, you see them, lying envelope in your compound. You can convert them to money.
Money.
Yeah, money, I mean money.
Convert them to money.
Convert them to money.
By selling to Dr. Scrap.
Selling to Dr. Scrap. Excuse me, lot of us, so many of us in the past, we have thrown away some of these things because we didn't place any value on it. We didn't know that it's something that could actually fetch us money. Yes. Like myself, a few years ago, along Abeokuta, I was driving to Lagos and my car developed fault. So that car was there for like close to a year because they couldn't fix it up. Eventually, Edmond, you can't believe me, they had to go and, butcher the vehicle at a very ridiculous price. I just threw it away. So if I had the opportunity of meeting with Dr. Scrap around that time, excuse me, I would have just had a little money.
And Dr. Scrap pay well.
Oh my God. That's another point there. Dr. Scrap will not buy anything but standard price from you. Yes. That's one thing about Dr. Scrap. And then Dr. Scrap, we have a lot of principles. We don't buy from the roadside. We don't buy from mechanic workshop because we have a name to protect. Dr. Scrap has put smiles on a lot of faces because of genuity, because of sincerity and openness. So we don't deal in obscure places. No.
So how do you buy?
Now, as we are on radio now, there's a number I will call now. I will dictate to people now. You call that number. Then you discuss with our agent. You discuss with us directly in our company. Then they will discuss with you. What do you have? What do you want to buy? What do you want to sell? Which kind of a car? It doesn't matter whether your car has engine or it doesn't have tire. It might have been there, grounded for years. It doesn't matter. Who will come around and buy it? Because we don't resell. We send it abroad for recycling. So that makes it more simple. You understand? Now, the number you are going to call if you want to have any business with us, write this number down before I say it further. 0908 301 3333. 0908 301 3333. There are steps to follow. The very first step is to call this number, Dr. Scrap number. Then send a picture or pictures of your vehicle or machines to us for value through media department. Our media department will come down haven't discussed with you, they come down to wherever your location, wherever, anywhere. We come down. So when we get there, okay, we do what we call verification. Then it turns to verification department.
How do you verify?
Yes. When we get there, we've done the empirical check. You understand? We've been there, we've checked through, okay, is it a car with engine? Is it just ordinary smoking or something like that? We check that one. So the first step, seller will be given a unique code. Once, when you are discussing, when you call us now, you are discussing with us, we give you a code. Because there are a lot of people, after this program, there are a lot of people might want to call us. Okay, I have this guy, I have that, I have this. So we are numbering you people as you are calling. So that's the code. The number, when you call us, whether you are number 14, that is your code. So when our agent comes to you, for the first question you got to ask is that, okay, what's the code? Then he tells you, then you confirm that, okay, this is from Mr. Scrap. Then the negotiation continues. So then you bring out the documents of the paper, of the car, that accidental car, or maybe the computer or whatever. You bring out the receipt. Then in let's say 1, 2, 3 minutes, we are done with verification. Because we work directly with FRSC, work directly with the police. So we have a machine that in no time will know. It doesn't matter whether, okay, these documents are up to date or whatever. No, we are less concerned about
that. So this is to avoid purchasing
buying
stolen
vehicles. That is it. So that's step 2, verification. Then they will now snap your document to confirm under 1 to 2 minutes. We'll confirm it right. So step 3, finance department will now have to credit the seller. We have been to your place, we've verified it, we've checked it through our system to confirm that, right, you are the owner of this thing. Then we place value on it. It might be what you least expect that, okay, I can sell this thing.
Then you credit the customer.
We credit the customer immediately. Then once you see a lot, then we are free to take your property away.
Can you give your number out again?
Okay. The number to call. Then one more thing, Edmond. You cannot see any other number apart from this number. On all our social medias, on Instagram, on WhatsApp, is this same number you will see there. So please and please, you have an abandoned vehicles, you have your laptop at home, you have a system at home that you are saying that, okay, very soon I will go and throw it away. Myself, I must have thrown a lot away because Dr. Scrap was not available around that time. So the number to call is 0908 301 3333. 0908 301 3333. Again, Edmond, before I go, we don't buy from mechanic workshop like I said the other time. If mechanic at all want to sell to us, you have to link us with the owner. Then we discuss directly with the owner. Then the owner will discuss with us. And if you have someone who has this kind of abandoned vehicle, you can call us. Then we discuss directly. Do you have your own commission too? Edmond, you remember?
Okay. Yes, I remember.
Okay.
So I remember the number. The number to call. Call Dr. Scrap and make some money. Scrap is wealth. So 090 830 133 33. That is Dr. Scrap. 090 830 133 33.
I said Dr. Edmond. Maybe you are going to be a doctor very soon. Anyway, sorry. Maybe you are a company or maybe a government prestataire, maybe government companies. In your compound, there are a lot of vehicles that years back, they have been there. You can call us as well. Engineering department, talk to us. We can come down and then we'll buy with good price. Dr. Scrap, we are here to make you happy. And of course, to clean metal, pollution on our land. That is what we are doing. We buy directly from the owner.
Seun Ejidokun, thank you for featuring on State Affairs.
You're welcome, Edmond.
The program is State Affairs. Stay tuned.
The Indomie tables are missing. What?
We were told that there were intelligence reports about this and that and so on. But then the intelligence reports came before the election. It should have been used before the election, not after the election.
Babangida said if he did not annul the election, there would have been a military coup.
That's how it's unfortunate that a general would chicken out of that.
Did he chicken out?
Yeah, well, he was commander-in-chief. So if he had an idea there would be a coup, he should have gone ahead to deal with the coup.
Eventually, he set up the interim national government. And there was a coup. Abacha took over.
Of course.
Was that a coup?
Well, in a way, it wasn't a coup. It was an arrangement. Because that's already inscribed in the interim national government decree, that if Shonekan fails, then the most senior military man should take over. First of all, why would you think that Shonekan will fail? To say that he will fail means that you already assume he should fail. And then you have appointed somebody to take over.
And he took over.
And he took over. So it wasn't a coup, it was a succession. And it was planned.
And Abacha began his lies.
And Abacha then decided that he would stay on. And he decided, he went ahead to establish political parties, dissolved all the parties, and then decided to establish 5 political parties. And Chief Bola Ige described those 5 political parties as 5 fingers on a leprous hand, because they were the same. They were on the same hand. They were all, you just split the same thing into 5. And eventually, the 4 of the 5 parties accepted Abacha as their candidate for the presidency. Technically, Abacha wasn't a member of any of the parties. So how come the parties now adopt him as their presidential candidate? The normal rule is that a presidential candidate will be one of the members of the political party. In this case, a party was appointing somebody not in their party to become the president of the country.
The plan was that he would be the consensus candidate.
Well, if it's going to be consensus, then you allow the parties to vote and concede that. Not that the leaders would say, he's our man. Because there has also been what some of us see as organized support. Boys asking for Abacha. And everybody, they say...
Youth earnestly ask for Abacha. Led by Dan Kanu?
Yes. And so...
The 2 million man march.
Yeah, a million march man and that kind of thing. All that drama was to say that he will fail means that you already assume he should fail. And then you have appointed somebody to take over.
And he took over.
And he took over. So it wasn't a coup, it was a succession. And it was planned.
And Abacha began his lies.
And Abacha then decided that he would stay on. And he decided, he went ahead to establish political parties, dissolved all the parties, and then decided to establish 5 political parties. And Chief Bola Ige described those 5 political parties as 5 fingers on a leprous hand, because they were the same. They were on the same hand. They were all, you just split the same thing into 5. And eventually, the 4 of the 5 parties accepted Abacha as their candidate for the presidency. Technically, Abacha wasn't a member of any of the parties. So how come the parties now adopt him as their presidential candidate? The normal rule is that a presidential candidate will be one of the members of the political party. In this case, a party was appointing somebody not in their party to become the president of the country.
The plan was that he would be the consensus candidate.
Well, if it's going to be consensus, then you allow the parties to vote and concede that. Not that the leaders would say, he's our man. Because there has also been what some of us see as organized support. Boys asking for Abacha. And everybody, they say...
Youth earnestly ask for Abacha. Led by that. To pick the present Alaafin.
In fact, it's also, I wrote about it in my column. He said the Oyomesi actually contacted him I think they had maybe about 7 princes. I'm not too sure of the number now, about 6 or 7 princes whom they wanted him to divine over who Ifa had chosen. And he said after his divination, and that he even wrote how many pages of explanation, because he's a professor. So he had the advantage of both the traditional knowledge and the modern knowledge and the powers of the two. He said he even wrote maybe a 9-page, I've forgotten the number of pages that he wrote, explaining how Ifa came about that choice. And that when he told them who Ifa had chosen, and it was the current Oba Owade, that he told the Oyomesi that Ifa had chosen. And they now told him that, look, okay, he had chosen that one. Could he also look at the others? And he said, no, Ifa doesn't work that way. That he had chosen, but if you say these are the reasons why this man that Ifa has chosen cannot be Oba. For instance, maybe he had a very bad record about that in his where he worked, he duped them, he was corrupt. Then they could look at that and then maybe drop that choice of Ifa. But in the absence of that, or if the man dies in the process, Ifa could pick another one. But that the choice of Ifa was sacrosanct. But of course, you know what followed. The Oyomesi didn't agree with him, and they took the stand that they took.
Interesting. But the governor agreed with him.
Apparently. He now said after that, he left for his base in the United States of America.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live.
When you are driving into Ibadan from Lagos, there's this confidence you get once you are coming into Oyo State.
Yeah.
Your men are well positioned.
We've been there since 2022. By sometimes this year now become 3 years. That's the effort of government. Every of those boys, they are being paid 2,000 naira per day as salary, as feeding. That's what the government is doing. How are the people who are the beneficiaries of their presence, the service being provided? What are the people doing? Look around that area. There are so many industries, so many firms making millions of naira. They are enjoying their services. But none of them has been able to come and say, let's provide something in form of CSR for these people. Provide them just a shelter, a prototype, just ordinary this to protect these people from sun and rain.
Because sometimes I see them hiding under trees.
Yes. When somebody that have been beaten by rain or the weather, how do you want that kind of human being? It's the same blood that flows in all our blood. I mean our body. How do you want that kind of human being to get optimum performance in terms of need? Then they will quick at blaming the government. Government should provide everything. In which country would that be done? We the people ourselves, we are not helping issues. We are not helping issues at all. Security is a collective responsibility. There are multi-million investment along that area. Depends of those guys is protecting the investment, is providing an enabling environment. The little they could do is just to, in form of CSR, just provide something like a shed. They are waiting for government to come and provide it. The government will do it, but you know that the resources are very, very minimal. And the content, and there are so many sectors contending for that little resources. They can't put everything on Amatekun. A lot of billionaires are passing that road. And they are saying that, oh, this guy said, what can I do to encourage these boys? What can I do to support the government? Just simple question. You don't need to give money anywhere. It's not to see them and start doling out 100,000. Construct something that can just give them, make their job to become their life more easy, so that that can now rub on their performance.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live.
From what you have just explained, it's like there was a coup.
No, you can see that was like a plan. You know, there was a template. What betrayed the whole issue was because Diya was central to General Abacha coming to power. Now say, oh God, we told you that this was how this man was.
So, but he didn't tell Abacha that the GOCs had come to him.
He didn't. He had not told. He didn't tell.
So
Abacha.
on a good day, he would have removed Abacha.
Well, it was not. He was not in charge of any troops.
But the chief of army staff was working with him.
The chief of army staff was working with him.
So the chief of army staff had troops.
He had troops.
The GOCs had troops.
They had troops.
So and they were all working with him.
They were purportedly working with him. Purportedly, and it's not as if they were. These are decision makers. These are members of the highest ruling body now.
Do you think Abacha used them to set him up?
It's most likely.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live. Stay tuned.
I need to tell you that your boys that followed us into Itasa did wonderfully.
Thank you.
They were so professional in the way they handled the situation that was almost becoming volatile.
That's as a result of the training that they have been given. That's the impact of the training they have been given.
And the way they positioned themselves.
Of course.
You know, they were well positioned.
Because they are there to save you. If there's anything that's going to happen to you, you now see them coming in. The threat has not gotten to a level where they have to come in. That's why the position themselves is just a way to manage the situation. If it's going to escalate more than that, they have a job. Because they are there to ensure that you are safe, so I can do your job. It's like that.
I could see the training. I could see the way they handled the situation.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live. State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live.
To tell you that your boys that followed us into Itasa did wonderfully.
Thank you.
They were so professional in the way they handled the situation that was almost becoming volatile.
That's as a result of the training that they have been given. That's the impact of the training they have been given.
And the way they positioned themselves.
Of course.
You know, they were well positioned.
Because they are there to save you. If there's anything that's going to happen to you, you now see them coming in. The threat has not gotten to a level where they have to come in. That's why the position themselves is just a way to manage the situation. If it's going to escalate more than that, they have a job. Because they are there to ensure that you are safe, so I can do your job. It's like that.
I could see the training. I could see the way they handled the situation.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live.
Have you read the book Understanding Modern Nigeria? Ethnicity, Democracy and Development, written by Professor Toyin Falola? This book provides one of the most comprehensive and insightful analysis of the complexities of democracy, development, and state building in Nigeria. Going beyond narratives of post-colonial dysfunction, this book highlights the contradictions, ambiguities, and positive potentials of Africa's most populous country. The depth of analysis and policy prescriptions make the book essential reading for anyone who seeks to understand modern Nigeria. Understanding Modern Nigeria, Democracy, Ethnicity, and Development, a book written by Toyin Falola. You can get this book on udarabooks.com. udarabooks.com. You can also order it through my WhatsApp number, 080-999-18449. That is 080-999-18449. 18449. Have you read the book Anyila Omoura, Life and Times of an Akpala Legend, written by Dr. Festus Adedayo? Anyila Omoura. I can't wait to release the interview with Dr. Festus Adedayo on YouTube. So subscribe to my YouTube channel. Just search for Edmond Obilo on YouTube and subscribe to the channel. It is an interview you should not miss. The story of Anyila Omoura, Life and Times of an Akpala Legend. An interesting book, well written, by a political philosopher, an acclaimed journalist. I recommend the book to you. Order your copy on udarabooks.com. You know, in that discourse with Dr. Festus Adedayo, we looked at metaphysics in Yoruba culture because Anyila Omoura was known for metaphysical powers. He wore rings, he went to Babalawo, he protected himself. He knew he was going to die. In a meeting, Anyila Omoura told Bayewumi that, Bayewumi, you will kill me. Okay, at first he said, one of you here will kill me. He was telling his band guys, like Jesus Christ told his disciples, that one of you here will betray me. Anyila Omoura said, one of you here will kill me. And they were all saying, me? Me? When it got to the turn of Bayewumi, Anyila said, yes, you will kill me. And Bayewumi eventually killed him. So there's something metaphysical about it. And I asked Dr. Adedayo about it. You see, in Yoruba culture, metaphysics is not an abstract theory hidden in books. It is life itself. It is the unseen woven into the seen. It is the force behind the form. To the Yoruba, reality is layered. There is the physical world that we see, and the spiritual world that we feel. There are the ancestors who live on, the spirits who guide, the deities, Orisha, who embody cosmetic principles. In Yoruba thought, development does not begin with machines, money, or monument. It begins with harmony between man, nature, and the unseen. It begins with the alignment of purpose, destiny, and collective will. Metaphysics is a foundation for action. When you consult Ifa, that is metaphysics. Every act of growth in Yoruba culture, it's metaphysically anchored. Before a farm is planted, sacrifices are made. Before a town is founded, divination is consulted, Ifa. Before a leader is crowned, the ancestors are appeased. That is metaphysics. Dr. Festus Adedayo, author of the book Anyilao Mawura, Life and Times of an Akbala Legend, is on State Affairs.
His grandmother was an Obatala worshipper. In fact, the house, the place where Ayinla Omowura built his house at Ileloja, they call it Ileloja, where he built his house was the shrine of his mother, Morenike Ashabi. So people didn't understand that Ayinla Omowura couldn't make a divide between the traditional and the Islamic. For him, it was the totality of his earthly experience, and he mirrored that experience in his songs.
You know, there are times I feel Africans, Yorubas, have not taken advantage of metaphysical power for development.
We have not.
Why are we not thinking in that line?
But I can tell you, there is a return. You see, when the whites, and then I really do give it to Egba people. As modernized as Egba land is, they still have a reflection of traditional Africa. They have a reflection of metaphysics. You know, it is said, and I'm yet to actually have a feel of it, but it is said that in Egbaland, Ogboni isn't such a horror as other parts of Yoruba land sees it to be. And then in terms of even healing, traditional healing, Egba people are, steeped in it far more than any other part of Yoruba land. But I can tell you that even in the whole of Yoruba land, there's a return, because people are beginning to return to traditional medicine of Africa. In terms of, for instance, now, they have found out the healing powers of those herbs of yore, in some of the diseases, sicknesses that constitute the highest killers of people in the world today. You talk about diabetes, you talk about
high blood
pressure,
cancer.
What's the name of this that you need to use a ventilator? Asthma. So there's a return, but what I cannot tell you is whether the metaphysical part of it, where you have to chant incantations, whether that is still in operation now.
Can't we turn incantations to formulas?
Yes. You see, when the crisis, quote and unquote, over the current Alafin came, I had to interview, alongside two other friends of mine, interview Professor Diya Bimbola. And I saw how Yoruba people have, quote and unquote, lost it in terms of abandonment of the rich repertoire of incantations and that is delivered as a form of poetry in Yoruba land, and the powers, the odus, because when you listen and you could relate to them. For instance, when I went to interview Professor Wande Abimbola, a 90-something-year-old man, and when you see his gait, if you see the beauty of his gait, how the man will just jump up from where he sat and will be, you think we were seeing a 20-something-year-old man. And the man said, look, it is what the Yoruba call atubotan. What his explanation of atubotan is, look, there's a repercussion for whatever good or evil you do. And that evil that you do, he said, for instance now, atubotan is, he as a 90-something-year-old man, he has all his organs intact, he has all his physical organs, I'm talking about hands, legs, memory, and even mental acuity, they are functioning well. It's a function, I'm sure it's a function of the fact that he's able to connect with the spiritual, which was a foundation upon which Yoruba land was built. Nobody is saying that anybody should not be a Christian, should not be a Muslim. No, I'm a Christian myself. I attend the Redeemed, but I believe that there is a whole lot of knowledge and redemption. It could be health-wise, it could be uplift of society that is latent in the knowledge that we have abandoned.
How did he explain the consultation of Ifa to pick the present Alafin?
In fact, it's also, I wrote about it in my column. He said the Oyomesi actually contacted him I think they had maybe about 7 princes. I'm not too sure of the number now, about 6 or 7 princes whom they wanted him to divine over who Ifa had chosen. And he said after his divination, and that he even wrote how many pages of explanation, because he's a professor. So he had the advantage of both the traditional knowledge and the modern knowledge and the powers of the two. He said he even wrote maybe a 9-page, I've forgotten the number of pages that he wrote, explaining how Ifa came about that choice. And that when he told them who Ifa had chosen. And it was the current Oba Owade that he told the Oyomesi that Ifa had chosen. And they now told him that, look, okay, yes, he had chosen that one. Could he also look at the others? And he said, no, Ifa doesn't work that way. That he had chosen, but if you say these are the reasons why this man that Ifa has chosen cannot be Oba. For instance, maybe he had a very bad record about that in his where he worked, he duped them, he was corrupt. Then they could look at that and then maybe drop that choice of Ifa. But in the absence of that, or if the man dies in the process, Ifa could pick another one. But that the choice of Ifa was sacrosanct. But of course, you know what followed. The Oyomesi didn't agree with him, and they took the stand that they took.
Interesting. But the governor agreed with him.
Apparently. He now said after that, he left for his base in the United States of America. The interesting thing is that the man has a Caucasian wife. I met the woman too when I went to his home in Oyo. And the woman, her recitations of Ifa poetry and knowledge of Ifa was first class. In fact, they said she's also a professor in a university. And in fact, there and then some Ifa devotees came and said they needed that strand, that divination strand. And he said no. He was asking Professor Abimbola, should she give them her own, or should she go and pick the one Baba was using? You know, I saw an intervention and understanding of Ifa couples. You know, far more than people like us who even are Yoruba people. I found it more enrapturing.
So the Ayinla Omowuras must have understood it too.
Exactly, and they used it effectively. However, I also tell people that what killed Ayinla Omowura wasn't because he was steeped in traditional metaphysics. What killed him was, you know, if you read this book, of course I dedicated a chapter to his death, and I did. And as I said, I did what an anthropologist would do. And I went ahead to also give it a reportorial slant. Of course, different versions, the ones that were contradictory, I pointed out the contradictions, and then I held on to what I felt was logical. People had so many theories about why he died. And the one I found very, very instructive was the one given by a woman called Iyagba. I interviewed the woman for hours in Abeokuta. In fact, she was indisposed that time. She had an injury on her leg, so she was lying on a mat while we did the interview. She was in fact, Ayinla sang her praises in his songs. She had a child for him. That boy, of course, the traditional mark, you know, the what they call it, the tribal marks that every firstborn of Ayinla, you know, must have. That boy had it on his cheeks. So the woman told me that, and it was astounding. She said she would not agree that it was Fatai Bayewumi who killed her husband. And I said, how do you mean, madam? He said, in fact, she began by saying, Astagfirullah, that God forgive me. I don't believe it was Bayewumi who killed Ayinla Omowura. I said, how do you mean? He said, Ayinla knew he was going to die. I said, how did you mean? He said, about 3 different groups came to him weeks before he died and told him that they saw vision that week that he died, he should be extra careful. He said there was a group from the north that met him and told him that from what they saw, visions that were unimpeachable, pointed to the fact that his death was nigh and that it could be avoided if he did some sacrifices. Ayinla Omowura thanked him. And the people told him that their own part of the sacrifice they would do it. The woman told me that Ayinla Omowura never did the sacrifice until he died. So some other groups in Abeokuta came to him. They foresaw that danger loomed ahead. In fact, I was also told that his spiritual advisor, Agbejapa Oba, you know, it was Agbejapa. He was the priest of Ijapa Oba. Although later he called him Ayinla Agbejapa Igbure. He was a priest of Oba. But later, the Igbure people said that, look, he wasn't an Oba priest. He should actually be a priest of Igbure. So, Ayinla Agbejapa Igbure also foresaw that death was lurking around Ayinla Omowura. And they said that some also told him never to fight anybody. That if he fought anybody, the person could die or that he would die.
You know, he was also quick-tempered.
He was extremely quick-tempered. So all these revelations, Ayinla never cared to do his own part of the sacrifices. On the day that he died, it was obvious that, you know, he was on the path of a tragedy.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live.
Did Oladipo Diya plan that coup?
Where
Yes, Festus Adedayo there. We just discussed metaphysics. He is the author of the book Anyilao Mawura, Life and Times of an Akbala Legend. Yoruba metaphysics does not oppose science. It invites a deeper science, one that recognizes material progress without neglecting spiritual balance. On that measure, success not only comes from work, but from conversations with the unseen. Yes, Oladipo Diya fell from power. Let's talk about the rise and fall of General Oladipo Diya. In this interview, historian and biographer Oluronti Afowowe opens a rare window into the dramatic life of General Oladipo Diya, once Nigeria's second most powerful man. As Chief of General Staff under the iron-fisted rule of General Sani Abacha, Diya stood at the very heart of Nigeria's military dictatorship in the 1990s, until fate turned violently against him. Accused of plotting a coup against Abacha, Diya's sudden fall from grace stunned the nation. Once revered, he became a condemned man, sentenced to death after a controversial military tribunal. His execution seemed inevitable until history intervened. Abacha's sudden death saved Diya's life. Did it save Diya's reputation? Dr. Oluronti Afowowe of the Department of History and International Studies, Osun State University, is on State Affairs.
Did Oladipo Diya plan that coup?
Where within the military, when there is 99% loyalty, it is assumed to be a coup. Initially, General thought it was a coup, but it was later events that revealed to him that it was merely being used. There was no coup. What happened? I told you he was the one who made most of those appointments, particularly the chief of army staff, Bamangi. So when they come to Aso Rock, Abacha is hardly available to anybody. So most of the officers were always in General Diya's office because they were close. These are people that had long relationship from the military. So they were always in office to discuss and the rest. So there came a day that the chief of army staff came with, I think, 4 GOCs out of the 7. Came to, including the Brigade of Guards. The commander of the Brigade of Guards came and to meet him in the office and said, "Oga, sir, when we warned you when you said it was General Abacha should be head of state. We warned you then. We said this was how this man was. Now, see this thing that we agree he has not done it. This we agree he has not done it. All he has been doing is not right." And that and he said, "Okay, what we should do?" They now said, "What we do is that we confront him. That this was our agreement. You did not do it. It's either you do it or you resign." That was what they discussed, and they left, not knowing that some of the officers that came to him had recording machine under their uniform and got everything recorded, and that was what they took to General Abacha. That see, this was what has happened. When Abacha now saw it,
who took it to Abacha? Was it Bamiyi?
Yes,
the chief of army staff.
It was Bamiyi.
He was the one who came with the suggestion of a coup.
Yes,
to remove Abacha.
Yes,
he was the one who recorded the conversation and took it to At what point did he decide to take it to Abacha?
Yes, these are things that happen within months.
Yes.
As later events occurred, it must have been at a point that he was going to be dictated for his own coup. Because what friend Colin Frank Omenka told Gerald Diya while interrogating him was, okay, why are you covering Obama? Because all that time, the Nigerian said, I'm the most senior officer. If it has happened, it has happened.
So all that time he accepted there was a plot.
Accepted
That there was a plot.
No, you know in the military when you say confront or resign, what's the meaning?
He accepted there were meetings in his office.
He accepted. He never denied. He was a very straightforward man, very honest. He accepted. But he said, look, it's my own responsibility as the most senior officer. No, it was then that America told him.
So by this time he didn't know that Bamiyi had snitched on him.
Yes, he didn't know. He didn't know that Bamiyi had another coup. The coup was to be a kind of detour, a kind of to take attention away from his own main coup.
Bamiyi was planning his own coup.
That was according to Colin Omeka. So because of that, he was director of military intelligence. He knows all that happened. So he now make Jabera did not believe him. He thought, Jabera too has been director of military intelligence too. He thought that it was a kind of psychological warfare to wear him out so that he would be prepared other officers. It was when they now got to tribunal that they saw themselves. That he knew that only Yoruba generals were arrested. It was at that point that they realized no commander was there, no GOC. Those who had the truth for coup.
And most of the GOCs that came were from the north?
They were from the north.
And none of them were arraigned before the tribunal?
No. It was then that they asked, where is Bamiyi? It was at that point that he saw her. I mean, it was, we not talk it on properly. It was horrible. He had true horrible experience.
He was dealt with.
He was dealt with. He never recovered until he died.
He was severely tortured.
Severely tortured. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was horrible.
From what you have just explained, it's like there was a coup.
No, you can see that was like a plan. There was a template. What betrayed the whole issue was because Diya was central to Gerald Abacha coming to power. Now say, God, we told you that this was how this man was.
So, but he didn't tell Abacha that the GOCs had come to him.
He didn't. He didn't tell.
So
Abacha.
on a good day, he would have removed Abacha.
Well, it was not. He was not in charge of any troops.
But the chief of army staff was working with him.
The chief of army staff was working with him.
So the chief of army staff had troops.
He had troops.
The GOCs had troops.
They had troops.
So and they were all working with him.
They were purportedly working with him. Purportedly, and it's not as if they were. These are decision makers. These are members of the highest ruling body now.
Do you think Abacha used them to set him up?
It's most likely, because we later discover a trend. There was the major Akiyemi coup before 1995. There was the Colin Bello Fadile coup.
The one that involved Obasanjo and
Yar'Adua. That lost his life. There was now the Phantom coup of 1997.
Is it Phantom?
I think it's Phantom from the facts available. It's Phantom, not real. Look, how can you have a coup without any troop?
But we are saying now the chief of army staff was part of it.
Was he added? That will know it's Phantom.
Did he follow up on that earlier discussion? Were there any plan to say how do we move the troops?
No, there was no follow-up. Event moves in rapid succession. There was no follow-up. I said they were so close. If he had been an ambitious person, he would not be thinking of national interest. He would have assumed office.
But he would have reported Bamiyi and the GOCs to Abacha.
I told you this was his appointees.
He could have disciplined them if he didn't want to remove Abacha.
Well, what really happened then was that there was an agreement
to remove Abacha.
No, there was an agreement that this was what we are going to do in government.
Abacha had failed.
Had failed to do, and and these were things that we were complaining about. They are legitimate complaints,
and they were ready to remove Abacha.
They now said that was the conclusion of the discussion. That what they were going to do is that they were going to confront Abacha at a meeting, and that meeting they are going to tell me is either you do the right thing or we will remove you.
But you know, you can't do that to a commander-in-chief.
Where?
In a meeting.
Where?
Diya must have learned from what happened, from the statement he made after the Okaku.
Yes. Well, of course, like I said, he was a man who is given to being patriotic.
Was he naive?
He was not naive.
He played into their hands now.
We are human beings with limited faculty. You know, these are people that you are appointed to positions. You know, there's a level of trust. Let me tell you the truth. The first person that I considered was General Adisa. The man from Ilorin.
He was the Minister of Works now.
Minister of Works,
yeah.
Before his appointment.
Yeah.
Adisa wanted him as Chief of Army Staff. Right? It was General Diya who said, no, let's be Bamayi. Right? It was this inclusive thing that let's get people, that will communicate to a level of trust.
You see, he was advised that he was the right person to head that military government.
Yes.
His friendly officers gave him reasons why Abacha should not be.
Yes, sir.
And those reasons were valid.
They were valid reasons.
Yet, Diya preferred Abacha. Was he not naive?
No, not that naive. He's a man that is very loyal, in quote. Very loyal, and feel that when you have a time to compensate people that have been nice to you, that you should do it. I told you the role that General Abacha played in his life, particularly in the later part of his career. He was virtually out of the military. Virtually out of the military. The Senate came to General Abacha, and he never forgot all that General Abacha did. And at that material time, truly in the interest of Nigeria, there was a need for someone who has contact with established, in quote, I don't want to use the word cabal, established influence in Nigeria. The power bloc who has established. Abacha was the one who had it.
That was an opportunity to break that establishment.
Well, these people are not thinking, they are not revolutionaries like you. They are conservatives that want to preserve existing order. It is true that we will think of revolution, change, that we will think along that line. General Diya was not thinking along that line. I can say that. I mean, it was just want peace, tranquility, justice, equity for Nigeria.
He was eventually sentenced to death.
Yes, sir.
Here we go.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live. Stay tuned.
The Indomitables are missing. What do we do?
And that and so on. But then the intelligence reports came before the election. It should have been used before the election, not after the election.
Babangida said if he did not annul the election, there would have been a military coup.
That's how it's unfortunate that a general would chicken out of that.
Did he chicken out?
Yeah, well, he was commander-in-chief. So if he had an idea there would be a coup, he should have gone ahead to deal with the coup.
Eventually, he set up the interim national government. And there was a coup. Abacha took over.
Of course.
Was that a coup?
Well, in a way, it wasn't a coup. It was an arrangement. Because that's already inscribed in the interim national government decree, that if Shonekan fails, then the most senior military man should take over. First of all, why would you think that Shonekan will fail? To say that he will fail means that you already assume he should fail. And then you have appointed somebody to take over.
And he took over.
And he took over. So it wasn't a coup, it was a succession. And it was planned.
And Abacha began his lies.
And Abacha then decided that he would stay on. And he decided, he went ahead to establish political parties, dissolved all the parties, to establish 5 political parties. And Chebola Ige described those 5 political parties as 5 fingers on a leprous hand. Because they were the same. They were on the same hand. They were all, you know, you just split the same thing into 5. And eventually, the 4 of the 5 parties accepted Abacha as their candidate for the presidency. Technically, Abacha wasn't a member of any of the parties. So how come the parties now adopt him as their presidential candidate? The normal rule is that a presidential candidate will be one of the members of the political party. In this case, a party was appointing somebody not in their party to become the president of the country.
The plan was that he would be the consensus candidate.
Well, if it's going to be consensus, then you allow the parties to vote and concede that. Not that the leaders would say, he's our man. Because there has also been what some of us see as organized support. Boys asking for Abacha. And everybody, they say...
Youth earnestly asked for Abacha. Led by Dan Kanu.
Yes, and so...
The 2 million man march.
Yeah, a million march man, and that kind of thing. All that drama was going on. So it wasn't as if the thing was normal. It's organized, it's orchestrated.
He lied to Abiola. Abiola fell for his lies.
Yeah, Abiola fell for his lie because they had been together for years. And there was a level of trust. So the lie was also a betrayal.
He said he was going to hand over to Abiola.
He was going to hand over.
And Abiola
nominated some of the members of the executive for him. So everything was going well, but the man who is a strategist, members of the executive for him. So everything was a master of deception played him out and eventually arrested him. And of course, he died in the custody.
Abacha also died at some point.
Where Abacha died, also.
Million man march.
Yeah, a million march man, and that kind of thing. All that drama was going on. So it wasn't as if the thing was normal. It's organized, it's orchestrated.
He lied to Abiola. Abiola fell for his lies.
Yeah, Abiola fell for his lie because they had been together for years. And there was a level of trust. So the lie was also a betrayal.
He said he was going to hand over
He said he was going to hand over.
And Abiola
nominated some of the members of the executive for him. So everything was going well, but the man who is a strategist and master of
It is the story of Oladipo Diya. It is history. What my guest has done, that is Dr. Oluronti Afuowe, is to draw from deep research, look at rare documents and personal testimonies. And he used the findings to write the book, Destiny Anchored on Faith, the story of General Oladipo Diya. It's a book you should read. I recommend the book to you, Destiny Anchored on Faith. You see, in my interview with Dr. Oluronti Afuowe, we looked at Diya, June 12, the coup and Nigerian politics. That interview will be uploaded on my YouTube channel soon. It's a full interview, and it's an interview you should listen to. If you read his book, Destiny Anchored on Faith, you see the power of knowledge, and you understand politics and power. Under the military, nothing has really changed, just that the military is out and the civilians are in. The character of Nigerian politics has not changed. So, Oluronti Afuowe is still on State Affairs.
He was eventually sentenced to death.
Yes, sir.
If Abacha had not died,
I mean, there's a mystery about life. I learned a lot through Diya from my interactions. Like I said, many things we didn't put in that book. When it is not yet your time, nobody can kill you. If you see, there were 3 different occasions that Diya was to be killed, that was already dead in court. And through miraculous means beyond human thinking, he escaped. Look at what happened on December 13, 1996. The plane was ready. They were going to this is chief of principal staff officer Onoja. They were known as Onoja. They were going to bury his mother in Makinde, and they were going to play the plane. Everything was ready. And when he wants to move, 30 minutes before he leaves his house, all the vehicles will have been this rain and the rest of it clearing the road. As he was coming down from official residence, his bedroom was upstairs. He was coming down. He had stomach ache. And because of that stomach ache, he went to toilet. And because he having left the toilet, he felt he should wait a bit. Maybe that thing can come back again. That it will not be nice for him to get to Makinde. The first thing he asked for was a toilet. That he should wait. And that was why he waited for 30 minutes. And that was what saved him. Because they had programmed the bomb to explode. And because he had not boarded the plane, the officer that was supposed, the soldiers that were to carry the bomb along with him, those soldiers did not know what they were carrying. It was just all their instruction. Take this portfolio and follow him to the something, and they were going to be allowed in. And that was how the thing exploded on ground. That was how it was saved. On the second occasion, they have passed the sentence, death sentence. It was the then GOC of they were in Jos. The then GOC was one Major General Peter Shah. They were in Jos, and they said the people from Abuja to come and execute them. They come in the middle of the night, dressed in black, and these people were lost unto themselves. They do things anyhow. They just came and went to the barrack and said, release these people for us, we are going to execute them. It was then that a colonel intervened, because these are junior officers. Intervened at the gate. They were already at the gate. Said, where's your order? Where is the signal that these people should be executed? They didn't bring any signal. They just came under verbal instruction from Abuja. It was then that colonel called Peter Shah that, look, if the people should be executed and you don't have the order, then you are liable, sir. Under that something, Abacha said, okay, sir, okay. What I will now do, I will call Abacha to verify whether indeed the order is from me. I called Abacha. Abacha had a bad habit of not picking anybody's phone. He did not pick phone. He called throughout the night. At that point, they had to be returned back to the prison. It's now saying we go back to Abuja to see Abacha, and that after seeing Abacha, he will confirm if it is true. We will ask them to. So the following morning he left for Abuja. He was in Abuja for 3 days, could not see Abacha. After 3 days, those big people waiting just became dissatisfied. They came back to Abuja. You know, these are people that enjoyed themselves. By the time they came to Abuja, he now saw Abacha. Abacha now confirmed to him that he was the one who authorized the execution. He now gave on phone to Abuja, to judge, that they should release them to be executed. Those people have left. They have arrived in Abuja. They said, no, they are tired. That is the only weekend that will go back to go and do the execution. That was when Abacha died. When Abacha now died, those officers again, those Kaba, the Babais of this world, organized that Diya group and Real should be moved to Kano. He was taken to Kano with others, with view of going to execute them in Kano, because just for them was no longer safe. They were going to execute them in Kano. When they got to Kano,
without the knowledge of Abdul Salam,
Abdul Salam did not know anything. When they got to Kano, now that's why I'm saying there are mysteries about life that you cannot explain. When they got to Kano, they now wanted to execute them. Another major now stood up and cocked his gun that he was going to fire them. That where is the order for the execution? That the president that gave that order was already dead. That the new president has to reconfirm the order. It was that major that stood his ground. And again, they had no church now but to inform Abubakar. Abubakar now ordered that they should be returned back to Jos. And from Jos, he now freed them. You can see hand of God, that it was beyond man.
Is that why you said destiny anchored on faith as the title of this book?
Yes, that's part of it. You know, his mother had so much influence on him. His mother insisted that he must never partake in juju. But that, you know, throughout the coup, the mother was always saying his child was coming back home. Even when the idea was sentenced to death, he must say, no, it was not my son that was sentenced. He was come to bury me. And it happened, though, he came back home.
He came back?
He came back and buried the mother. I was part of those who buried the mother. He came back and in fact lived for many years before the mother later died.
Abacha was ruthless.
Really, he was a ruthless soldier. You know, that's part of military training. That's part of the training. If you read the background of Diya too, you will see traits like that. That, you know, for example, why did he end up? If you are going to become a chief of army staff or a general, you start from the NDA. There are certain things you must have done, records that you must have made in NDA. Well, he didn't want to, he found himself in the military. He joined the military against the parents' wish. And part of the training is that you must be involved in boxing. I mean, sports generally. And the military, when you are being trained, you are not to surrender. No matter the condition, part of the training. If you are dying, you must not surrender. And there was this day he was asked to be they just actually appoint people to come and fight. He was marked with someone powerful, better than him. And they started boxing. He said when he received the first blow, he saw stars. The second blow, he knew if the third blow should land on him, I was going to die. And the person was not merciful to him. He wanted to shine. He said he became desperate. That, okay, he was going to kill me, and this I must not surrender because it's part of our training. But I'm going to teach him a lesson too. I will make sure that we regret his action today. You know, he was just pretending as if he was going to box. All of a sudden, he just went for his leg. You know, wrestling was not part of blessing. He just went on his leg, and the man landed on his back. You know, we thought that would have been finished. No, he now compelling, bitterly. He fought with all his smile. He thought that was his end in NDA because he had gone against the rule of boxing. Of course, in NDA, if you are going to be marched out, you will have to go to the office of the commandant. From there, he was marched to the office of the commandant. He thought he was going to be asked to go home. When he got to the office of the commandant, they now asked him, why did you do that? He now explained what happened. The commandant said, truly you are an officer. an officer should be innovative, an officer should be ruthless, an officer must always find his way out, no matter the condition. That was why he had his first medal. What am I saying this? The Abacha is ruthless is an attribute of the military.
Perhaps Abacha also wanted to take out Abdul Salam and Babangida before he died.
Of course. You can see programmatic elimination or possible opposition to Abacha presidency. I mean, it started with Abacha, with the officers that were both in the army military, they were being eliminated. The man that was always talking, General Olusegun Obasanjo, the man that has political ambition, Seyi Yadua, he was taking them step by steps until he got to position of General Diya. And there were insinuations that are already plans for Abubakar before that death of Abacha. And some people insinuated that it was probably because of what General Abacha planned to do to General Abubakar, that probably General Babangida too, that later resulted to revelations that we were seeing about Abacha. And you want to ask yourself, why is it only the Abacha regime, in all the regimes that has been in Nigeria, that we have recovered its money, that we have concrete evidence that it took away money from Nigeria? Why? You see that this nation may not be far from the truth.
State Affairs with Edmond Obilo is live.
Intelligence reports about this and that and so on. But then the intelligence reports came before the election. It should have been used before the election, not after the election.
Babangida said if he did not annul the election, there would have been a military coup.
That's how it's unfortunate that a general would chicken out of that.
Did he chicken out?
Yeah, well, he was commander-in-chief. So if he had an idea there would be a coup, he should have gone ahead to deal with the coup.
Eventually, he set up the interim national government. And there was a coup. Abacha took over.
Of course.
Was that a coup?
Well, in a way, it wasn't a coup. It was an arrangement. Because that's already inscribed in the interim national government decree, that if Shonekan fails, then the most senior military man should take over. First of all, why would you think that Shonekan will fail? To say that he will fail means that you already assume he should fail. And then you have appointed somebody to take over.
And he took over.
And he took over. So it wasn't a coup, it was a succession. And it was planned.
And Abacha began his lies.
And Abacha then decided that he would stay on. And he decided, he went ahead to establish political parties, dissolved all the parties, and then decided to establish 5 political parties. And Chief Bola Ige described those 5 political parties as 5 fingers on a leprous hand, because they were the same. They were on the same hand. They were all, you just split the same thing into 5. And eventually, the 4 of the 5 parties accepted Abacha as their candidate for the presidency. Technically, Abacha wasn't a member of any of the parties. So how come the parties now adopt him as their presidential candidate? The normal rule is that a presidential candidate will be one of the members of the political party. In this case, a party was appointing somebody not in their party to become the president of the country.
The plan was that he would be the consensus candidate.
Well, if it's going to be consensus, then you allow the parties to vote and concede that. Not that the leaders would say, he's our man. Because there has also been what some of us see as organized support. Boys asking for Abacha. And everybody, they say...
Youth earnestly ask for Abacha. Led by Dan Ekanu.
Yes. And so...
The 2 million man march.
Yeah, a million march man and that kind of thing. All that drama was going on. So it wasn't as if the thing was normal. It's organized, it's orchestrated.
He lied to Abiola. Abiola fell for his lies.
Yeah, Abiola fell for his lie because they had been together for years. And there was a level of trust. So the lie was also a betrayal.
He said he was going to hand over.
He said he was going to hand over.
And Abiola
nominated some of the members of the executive for him. So everything was going well, but the man who is a strategist and master of deception played him out and eventually arrested him. And of course, he died in the custody.
Abacha also died at some point.
Where Abacha died, they were on the same hand. They were all, you just split the same thing into 5. And eventually, the 4 of the 5 parties accepted Abacha as their candidate for the presidency. Technically, Abacha wasn't a member of any of the parties. So how come the parties now adopt him as their presidential candidate? The normal rule is that a presidential candidate will be one of the members of the political party. In this case, a party was appointing somebody not in their party to become the president of the country.
The plan was that he would be the consensus candidate.
Well, if it's going to be consensus, then you allow the parties to vote and concede that. Not that the leaders would say, he's our man. Because there has also been what some of us see as organized support.
Hey, the radio man is set to go. You want to go with me? Okay, before I go, let me hear from you. You've listened to the show from Seyi Makinde to Amotekun to Metaphysics to Oladipo Diya. Just hit the nail on the head. 07069493000. Hello.
Hello, Edmund.
Baba. Baba, hit the nail on the head.
Thank you. See, Seyi Makinde is a potential president of Nigeria. But I am advising him not to raise his ambition against 2027. So I'm telling him to please, he's a young man. He should follow the way President Ahmed Tinubu did. After leaving Lagos, he waited for many years for family arrest, right himself with north, east, west, and north and south. And eventually he got it. He did the best political engineering. That is what I will advise Seyi Makinde to do.
All right.
I pray I live when he becomes president. Thank you.
Thank you. That's Baba. Baba is brief today. Is Seyi Makinde a young man? Seyi Makinde is approaching 60. Okay. All right. 07069493000. Just hit the nail on the head. Bosun is here. 07014475770. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hello.
My name is John Owisi.
Okay, John, good to hear your voice.
It's a pleasure. On that phantom coup that wanted to eliminate Diya, all of us knew then, even though we were small, we knew it was not a coup. It was a calculated attempt to eliminate him. We thank God that coup is coming up now. And I think we'll be setting out for more so that we can hear more about that joint coup. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John Onyisi. Ayeni Olumide says the political class wants to kill or end this country for their selfish interests. Hello, good morning. I can see Wale. Wale says, good morning, radio man. Seyi Makinde is a friend to his people and stranger to his own ranks. He gets the results whenever he wants it. Unfortunately, his influence wins when it comes to his ranks. Ayo is on X. He said Atiku has a 50-year-old son. I don't know why he can't support someone from the south to be president. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, radio man, Mr. Bilo.
I greet you.
My name is Ayodele. I'm calling from Orogun.
The ball is in your court.
I just want to talk about those politicians who are cross-carpeting, particularly the governors who are cross-carpeting to the PDP. I think they have their own reason for doing it. Majority of them have one case or the other to answer. And they are looking for where to save their heads or their face. And I believe that it is not the first time that they are doing this kind of a thing, you know. During the era of Buhari, PDP, one people will cross from one place to the other because they want to save their faces. But I think it is our constitution has failed us completely, because if we go into legality, they will still have reason from the from the constitution that is backing them up to do it, which is wrong. We give you a mandate to go and represent us as a PDP or APC candidate, and you get to that place without our own informing us we are the electorate. You go, it's wrong. They should be rejected, and that thing should be resumed from our constitution. Thank you.
Thank you. Oladipo Joseph is on State Affairs. He says Okowa is dodging bullets of justice for corruption allegations leveled against him by the EFCC by decamping to the APC, where his sins will be washed away by the precious blood of the holy Jagaban. That is Oladipo Joseph. Kazim Sonny, good morning to you. Abiodu David, thank you for joining the program. Next week is another time on State Affairs.